Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Talanta Eye. If you're joining us today for the first time at Talanta Eye, we form discussions around issues making headlines and issues around you so that we can be able to start a conversation that makes sense. In today's top stories, the regulation puzzle that faces the disruptive sharing economy in our country is an issue of discussion. A new lifeline for the Nakumatt supermarket after Tuskys supermarket offers to get into a merger. And the Matatu ban, which we've been talking about, has been put on hold for a month. And today we'll find out why we are living in one of the most expensive cities. Find out Nairobi's ranking as we move ahead. And think digital if you are looking for a job. That's what all experts are saying right now. And Kenyan athletes are now looking to break records at this year's Berlin Marathon. On to the first story, we're going to go into the regulation puzzle. There is a regulation dilemma that's facing businesses that don't fit into any licenses. It's no secret that we have become very heavily reliant on a lot of technology. A lot of technology is coming up every now and then. So it's becoming a nightmare for the regulators, especially in this country, because the technology is growing faster than any of the regulators anticipated. I mean, there's been a scramble of what do online platforms fit as, because softwares or platforms such as Uber, Sandy, OLX, Jumia are causing a very big headache to regulators who don't know where to put them in terms of licensing. We are coming from a traditional form of business where everyone needed to know exactly what you're doing. It was easy to license. But in this sharing economy, which is said to be very, very disruptive, and it's a sharing economy because it's collaborative. Think of something like Uber. It offers a technology, so there is a software, but it also facilitates a transport system, but you cannot categorize it as a transport business because they do not own any of the transportation that happens in that. It's just a link. Really, it's just a link between the drivers and the riders. So it's very, very tricky. It becomes a very big headache for the regulators. However, Dr. Bitang Ndemo is saying that at the onset of such businesses, we should not really be thinking about regulation. Rather, what purpose are they serving? Because we might not want to kill a lot of the innovation. If someone thought about regulating M-Pesa at its beginning, because there was also a lot of uncertainty. Is it a banking business? What is it? Is it a money savings? Is it a circle? Is it anything? But then there was a lot of uncertainty. So with all that, it would be very important to make sure that we are safeguarding our interest and seeing what comes best to us. Now, onto a story that has been progressing or developing for a long time. Nakumatt has been on the brink of closure. In fact, they have closed down most of their branches. Just this week, they closed down the Thika Road branch, which had been embattled. Even the management for Thika Road Mall had taken them to court, trying to match their assets or at least pin their assets to their debts. Now, yesterday, in a new move, at least it's a very shocking move because Tuskys is a competitor to Nakumatt. However, it got into a merger, or is still in the process of getting into a merger, because the Competition Authority of Kenya says they are yet to receive any formal documents expressing this interest for them to review and grant that formal request. So if it goes forward, Tuskys and Nakumatt will retain their brand names, but Nakumatt will enjoy the goodwill that Tuskys has with its suppliers, meaning that we'll no longer have empty shelves. And perhaps the best thing we can take out of this story is that sometimes the solutions are in-house. It's about collaboration, it's teamwork. These are the two of the biggest competitors in our country. Yet, when they realize that something is a fault in their industry or is a miss, instead of rejoicing and saying, let our competitor get out of the market, you strike an accord to work very well harmoniously so that you also safeguard your interests and your business is protected. Now, back to the Matatu ban, which was supposed to take effect tomorrow. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. And in a new move now, the county government has put the ban on hold for a month after a meeting with the Matatu Welfare Association and the Matatu owners yesterday, where it was agreed there are a lot of things that need to be moderated. Security of the pedestrians, expanding this bus terminus, giving good mechanisms, not just the transfer period of locking out Matatus out of the CBD. That would have caused a lot of chaos. In fact, there was an anticipated strike which was going to be announced by the Matatu Owners Association, and in fact the county government had said they would use at least 400 National Youth Service buses to mitigate that strike. However, it's good that they are back to the discussion table. This time we hope all the stakeholders will be involved, because there was an outcry that most of the stakeholders were not involved in that. Now, in a not so shocking revelation in some statistics, turns out that Nairobi is the fourth most expensive African city to live in, according to a recent study. I think for anyone who lives in Nairobi, this may not come as much of a shock to you, because if you've been in Nairobi and you go to other towns outside Nairobi, you realize that life in Nairobi is quite expensive. So in a recent survey, Nairobi ranked fourth, right after Zimbabwe, and that's the capital, Harare, and then Port Louis in Mauritius, and Pretoria in South Africa. So that's not particularly a good thing, because if development does not match the revenue and the growth of the people, then we are in a crisis. However, being the fourth most expensive in Africa, Nairobians also have the highest spending power in the country, and in Africa they are ranked very high in terms of people with the highest spending power. It also has the most expensive furnished accommodation and fast food restaurant combo meals. It turns out our combo meals, which we think are an offer, and they tell you all these combo meals you see in fast food chains that are set up in the country, turns out they are the most expensive in Africa. That's something that we need to think about. So moving forward, job analysts are saying that digital economy is where growth of the marketplace is. So if you're looking for a job, it might be time to think about going online. And considering that Kenya is the first African country with the highest internet speeds, and we have the highest digital infrastructure in sub-Saharan Africa, then we should be able to take advantage and utilize any opportunity that we can to make sure that we grab the digital marketplace by its horns and reap from it. Now onto the sports section. We are heading into the Berlin Marathon, and our athletes are looking to break world records. One particular athlete is Eliud Kipchoge. Now the Berlin Marathon will kick off on September 24th, which is just a few days away. And Olympic marathon gold medalist Eliud Kipchoge says he's out to break the world record, which stands at 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. It would be important to note that this year he participated in a Nike-sponsored challenge where he clocked a time of 2 hours, and 25 seconds, which is higher than the set record, but this was not recognized by the International Association of Athletics Federations, that's the IAAF, because they cited that there was non-compliance in the pacemaking and the rehydration on the course. So we can only hope this time that legitimately he's going to clock a better time and break the record. And we've been known to break so many records, so especially with the long distance races, and even those are our strongholds. So we can only hope to break that record and hold on to it. So thank you for joining us today on the Talanta Eye. I'm your host, Edwin Kuria. For all the discussions that we had today, if you may want to carry on the discussion or give us inputs or your feeling about it, please do so in the comment section below. Also in the comment section, let me know what are the things that are happening around you, or what are the things making headlines that we did not touch on that you feel have a great impact and would warrant a discussion. So thank you very much for joining me. Until tomorrow, this has been the Talanta Eye.